Hello everybody, it's the War Hipster here, coming at you with another Contrast Plus painting tutorial from Warhammer Quest Darkwater. Yes, we are back once more with yet another one of the heroes, and, well, I'm very excited because today we are painting Jacobus Vyne, the Jade Wizard. Yes, as well as his little familiar, whose name does have a name, but I've completely forgotten it as we hit the record button, so, you know... accidents happen. Anyway, he's been sent to me early by Games Workshop as part of the Warhammer Quest Darkwater box, and I'm very excited because he's very, very cool, and he looks more complicated than he is. So, on that note, we're going to jump in and we're going to start painting him. He's been primed in Wraithbone, and we're going to be painting up Jacobus Vyne and then the familiar afterwards. But the first colour that we're going to be using is Aethermatic Blue. We're going to be applying this over top of his tabard, just in here, kicking things off nice and simply. With that Aethermatic Blue all applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Aeldari Emerald. And we're going to apply this over the top of his underrobe, which is this bit. It's not his underrobe, it's more just his robe. But it's that sort of slightly ethereal looking green. With that Aeldari Emerald and Lahmian Medium mix applied, just whilst we're waiting for it to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 4 parts Dark Angels Green to 2 parts Lahmian Medium mix, and we're going to apply this over top of his kind of remaining green clothing. So with that all done, just whilst we're waiting for that to fully dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Terradon Turquoise. And we're going to apply this over top of his belt / sash. But what we're also going to do is we're going to apply this over top of the trim around the outside of his robe. Like that sort of thing. And so with that now done, what we're going to do next is we're going to take some Ork Flesh and we're going to apply this over the top of the darker robe. And so with that now done, we're going to take some Black Templar and we're going to apply this over the top of his sash. And so with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take a roughly 1-to-1 mix of Lahmian Medium and Biel-Tan Green. And we're going to apply this over top of that more ethereal robe that we did with the Aeldari Emerald. Just to make it a little, tiny little bit more green. So with that all done, what we're now going to do is we're going to take some Seraphim Sepia. And we're going to apply this over the top of his underskirt and shirt. And then next up we're going to take some Cygor Brown. We're going to apply this over the top of his little pouch just here. But we're also going to apply this over the top of the little owl on his shoulder. And what we'll do on the owl is we'll just avoid his little eyes. With that all done, we're then going to take some Guilliman Flesh and we're going to apply this over top of Jacobus's skin. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to work on his staff. And we're going to use 4 colours to do this, because the staff actually kind of starts over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take Cygor Brown, Agrax Earthshade, Militarum Green, and Mantis Warriors Green. I'm going to use these to start doing some blending all the way up the staff. So we're going to start with some Cygor Brown, and we're going to apply this starting over here. I'm going to get this over the top. Of the wood, like this, and then what we're going to do once we start to get to this corner here, I'm going to bring it up to that vine, then we're going to wash the brush and then grab some Agrax Earthshade. And then what we're going to do with the Agrax Earthshade is we're going to start in the Cygor Brown just there, and then we're going to pull it up to a roundabout there, like that. Then we're going to wash the brush, grab some Militarum Green. And once again, I'm going to start in the Agrax and bring it up to around about there. Then we're going to wash the brush, grab some Mantis Warriors Green, start in the Militarum, and then bring it all the way around like that. And then we're just going to replicate that exact thing over the top of the other side. So whilst we now wait for that staff to dry, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Iyanden Yellow. I'm going to apply this over top of our little owl's eyes. And with that all done, we then take a little bit of Soulblight Grey and we apply this over top of Jacobus's beard. Next up, we're going to once again use some Terradon Turquoise, and we're going to use this to pick out the leaves on the staff. And so with that now done, we're going to take some thinned down Iron Warriors. We're going to apply this over the top of his little sickle. Just like that. And for our final base coat on Jacobus Vyne, we're going to take some Liberator Gold. I'm going to apply this over the top of his belt buckle. So with all the base coats now applied, it's time to add some shades, and what we're going to do is we're going to start with some Biel-Tan Green, and we're going to apply this over the top of the greenest parts of the staff. With that all done, we're then going to take a little bit of Mantis Warriors Green. And we're going to apply this over top of the spiral of his belt buckle. And with that all done, we then take a little bit of Nuln Oil. And we're going to apply this over the top of the sickle. So with that now done, Jacobus Vyne is now what I would call a war hipster battle ready. However, we are of course not going to leave him there. No, we're going to take him to the next level. We're going to do this by adding some highlights. Now, first of these is going to be some thinned down Temple Guard Blue. I'm going to use this to highlight the leaves on the staff and the belt. And so with that now done, we're going to now take some thinned down Sybarite Green, and we're going to use this to basically pick out and highlight the trim that we did with the Terradon Turquoise. And with that Sybarite Green applied, we're then going to take some thinned down Gorseblaster Green, and we're going to use this to highlight the kind of the brightest robe itself. But what we will also do is over those areas we use the Sybarite Green, is we will add a little spot highlight towards the sharpest corners and edges. So with that all done, our next port of call is going to be to take some thinned down Warpstone Glow. I'm going to use this to highlight the darkest green. With all of that Warpstone Glow applied, what we're then going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Skarsnik Green. I'm going to use this to add some spot highlights to that darker green. So moving on now, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Moot Green and we're going to use this to highlight the vines in the greenest parts of the staff. And with that Moot Green all applied, we then take a tiny little bit of Flash Kits Yellow. And we're going to use this to just add some little spot highlights up here, where we've got mostly Mantis Warriors Green. And with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take a tiny little dot of black Templar and we're going to apply this over the top of the middle of the owl's eyes. There's no horse here. So with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Knight-Questor Flesh. We're going to use this to highlight both his little pouch and the little owl. And with that Knight-Questor Flesh all applied, we then want to take a tiny little bit of Ungor Flesh. I'm going to use this to add some little warmth spot highlights to the owl on his tummy, his eyebrows. Just like that. So with our owl now complete, we take some thinned down Corax White. I'm going to use this to effectively almost fully relayer his beard, just like this, but we do also want to pick out his eyebrows. And with that white beard now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Flayed One Flesh. I'm going to use this to highlight his skin. Now, helpfully, as far as I can tell, according to the box art, his eyes are closed. So we don't actually have an eyeball to paint here, which is really cool. And so to finish off Jacobus Vyne, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thinned down Iron Breaker. I'm going to use this to highlight the sickle. And we're also going to use this to highlight the outside ring of his belt buckle. So with Jacobus Vyne all done, it's now time to paint Whisper, is his name, I believe. This little guy. So what we're going to do is we're going to take two colours, Mantis Warriors Green and Dark Angels Green. And we're going to apply these at the same time. So we're going to start with the Mantis Warriors Green, and we're just going to apply this over the top of the entirety of the model. And as you can see, it's pretty much the perfect colour for this little guy straight away without having to do very much to it. However, what we are going to do with the Dark Angels Green, just a second, once we've gotten this Mantis Warriors Green all over, and I'm going quite quickly because we don't want it to dry, and also we can mop up any excess as we go in just a minute. Once we've got it all on there, there we go. Should be everything. Right, what we're then going to do is wash the brush and grab a little bit of Dark Angels Green. And we're going to apply this over the top of like this wispy bit here. Like that. We're going to apply it over this wispy bit just here as well. Like so. We're going to apply a little bit of it coming down. And we're going to come into the tail as well and bring it down the face like that. Then we wash the brush, grab a little bit of Mantis Warriors Green, and we apply this to soften the impact of the Dark Angels Green. Around the model like that. Wash the brush. We can also use this just with a clean brush. Just come in here and just absorb any really dark bits that we don't want. Just kind of move it around a bit as well, like that sort of thing. And then we're just going to do the same thing on the other side. So Dark Angels Green. Like that. Wash the brush. Grab the Mantis Warriors. And use this to move it around. So with that all done, we then take some Biel-Tan Green. We apply this over the top. The whole lot. So with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some Black Templar. We're going to apply this over top of his little bladed lib, just here. And over the black back claws on his feet. And so with that now done, what we're going to do is we're going to take some thin down Moot Green. And we're going to use this to highlight all the areas we want to be a little bit brighter. So this is going to be areas around here in his body and around the head. And the tail. And so with that all done, we're then going to take some thinned down Flash Kits Yellow. We're going to use this to add some little spot highlights to all of our green. And so to finish off Whisper, we're then going to take a tiny little bit of Gorse Blaster Green. I'm going to apply this over the top of his eyeball. And so with the base complete, Jacobus Vyne is now finished, and I think he might be one of the best wizard models the Games Workshop has ever made, at least from like a sort of lawful good aligned type vibe. And I just really like this miniature. I think he's going to be a real favorite for people, and he actually looks like he could do some real cool stuff on the tabletop in Darkwater, so we'll have to wait and see how that happens. If you enjoyed this video, you love the channel, and you'd like to support me further, you absolutely can do so by heading to patreon.com/warhipster, just like all of these wonderful amazing people have done. And alternatively, you could become a YouTube channel member by clicking on the join button below, exactly like these fabulous folks have done scrolling up on the screen before you. There are so many of you out there that it really takes my breath away, and I cannot thank you enough for everything you do, as without you I wouldn't be able to keep making these Contrast Plus videos. And if you really like this video and you want to send me a little thanks, just click on the thanks button just below this video. Don't forget to share it, like it, comment on it, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, and to make sure you stay up to date, don't forget to click the bell icon. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you all very soon in the next one. Happy wargaming.